The best way to come up with a game idea is just to let it come naturally. But as you probably know, that isn't exactly the fastest way. Sometimes you just need an idea fast. And so in this video, we'll go over a few different methods that you can use to come up with unique game ideas fast. Let's go. A very effective method that a lot of developers like to use for game ideas is to take multiple game genres they like and combine them. Slay the Spire is a deck builder and a roguelike. Crypt of the Necrodancer is a rhythm game and a roguelike. Roguelikes are very popular genres to use in this method, but you could really do anything, like maybe a platformer and a bullet hell, or a Metroidvania puzzle game. Designing a game to fit into multiple game genres at the same time is a really easy way to come up with some very interesting game ideas, but there are only so many genres. 63 according to Wikipedia, meaning that you can only get 1,953 games out of this. As of March 2021, roughly 50,000 games are on Steam, which is just a little bit more than 1,953. So if everyone started doing this, it would quickly exhaust the supply of possible games. Or it's possible that maybe it's already exhausted. You could get further by choosing 3 or 4 genres, which would boost the total number of games up to 39,711 and 595,665 games respectively. But that of course would be very hard to do. Trying to fit into the limitations of 2 genres is hard, but 3 would be almost impossible to do without sacrifices. And that's not even considering 4 genres. While this method does work, maybe at some point you might start to realize that you're struggling to find a game idea that hasn't already been done. But what if instead of combining game genres, you combined games themselves? As I mentioned before, there are over 50,000 games on Steam, meaning that the number of combinations of 2 games is a number larger than the default Windows calculator would let me calculate. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're all unique. Modifying existing game ideas is a really good way to come up with a new idea, because if you're starting from something that's already fun, all you have to do is not mess it up. Of course, that's a little easier said than done, but it's better than working from scratch. Or is it? Because how do you even modify a game idea? There's just so many different things you could do that coming up with an interesting modification might seem more daunting of a task than just starting from scratch. What I'm about to tell you probably won't fix this problem, but it might make it a little less scary. Regardless, here is a few formulae you can use to turn an existing game idea into something new. You could remove an important mechanic. This one has a lot of potential, but could also be really hard to design around because there is a reason the mechanic is important in the first place. But imagine Celeste without jumping, so maybe you just have to fall and dash through a series of challenges. Or Stellaris, but there's no pause, so you have to make a decision on the spot and just hope it doesn't ruin everything. This could probably make a fun roguelike actually, I might store this one away for later. You could add a new mechanic which is far less restrictive, but that's not always a good thing, because you need to work out what a good new mechanic could be, and again, that might be as hard as working from scratch. So instead, maybe think back to the game combinations method, but instead of the entirety of each game being combined, maybe just add a mechanic from one into the other. How about Subnautica and Hollow Knight, a Metroidvania game where you have to manage a very limited supply of oxygen. You could also change the dimensions that the game takes place in. Maybe you could turn Overwatch into a 2D game. I'm not sure why, but that kinda reminds me of something. Or what if you changed the genre and turned Overwatch into a space exploration game, or a roguelike? When in doubt, just make it a roguelike. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful, then maybe consider subscribing. We've almost reached 1,000 subscribers, so it'd be awesome if you could help get us there. A lot of interesting ideas come from game jams because of their short development timeframe. But most importantly, the notorious game jam theme. Game jam themes are generally very limiting, forcing you to make a game that features a certain mechanic, or in a certain setting, or something like that. You could recreate this unmatched creativity found in jam games by creating your own theme, either by coming up with one yourself or looking online. But once you decide on a theme, it's very important that you force yourself to stick with it, otherwise it just defeats the whole purpose. If you want to be truly unique, then good luck. But one thing many experienced game designers do is to take inspiration from real life. If there's anything that you really enjoy doing or just think could turn into an interesting mechanic for a game, then why not do that? So, just to recap, you can combine genres, combine games, remove or add a mechanic from an existing game, you could change the dimensions or genre of a game, you could come up with a game using a game jam theme, or you could be entirely original and seek inspiration from real life. Or you could just take your favorite game and make it a roguelike. There's actually a reason why it's so easy to make anything a roguelike. Roguelikes are the most versatile game genre because the only things that really define a roguelike, at least by the current popular definition, is random generation and permadeath. So all you need to do is add those two things to anything that already exists, and now it's a roguelike and a whole different experience. Even Minecraft's hardcore mode could be considered a roguelike because it does feature random generation and permadeath. But anyway, that's all for this video. Hopefully this gave you some interesting ways you could find a game idea, and maybe they'll even work. If you have any methods of your own that you use to find an idea, make sure to leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye forever.